we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
Yes, we're back.
Episode 302, the 300 series. It rolls on. One of my favorite guests of all time, back on the show, Gray Carr Bridgers. Got married, released a book. We got Kiss the Butterfly out now. We're going to dive into all that. But first of all, Gray, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Arthur and Kevin. I'm so glad to be here. Y'all have awesome energy. I could talk to y'all forever and a day. So I'm glad to be here.
I was like, we have to start this record button.
We were just sitting here shooting the breeze for 30
we were
minutes.
about to go off. Yeah.
I know, right?
Might as well hit the button.
Let's just go off in the deep end. Let's roll with it.
Yeah.
It's great. So, yeah, last time you were on, you were still working on writing the book.
Yes.
It was right before Christmas.
It's now out. It's beautiful artwork.
Looks
Thank
great.
you.
And you're crediting a student?
Yes, Calvin Boyle, whom is a student at Watershed, and he is a brilliant artist. He is in upper school and still very young. He's done a lot of work at Rhode Island School of Design, and I went up to him and I said, Calvin, can you please potentially do the artwork for my book? And I gave him a paragraph. And he came out with this, and so there's subliminal stuff in the artwork. But the first thing you see is a girl with a torch, clearly in the deepest, darkest part of the Amazon. But some things that are awesome. Their little eyes, all dotted all around, and I wanted that. There are some guns that are in here too, some AK-47s, some shotguns, etc.
Okay.
And then there's a subliminal butterfly sitting in here.
Okay, I'm seeing more of that.
Yeah, so
it's a cover you can look at for a while.
Right. Yeah, and
I'm gonna look at some more of this now.
And there's some alligators in there, so there's a little bit of that, and then at the bottom left you'll see some purple things that are resemblance of mushrooms, and that has some significance as you get towards the end of the book.
Nice.
Okay, we'll keep that.
So there's
for the
actually
reader.
a lot to this art that you don't see right off the bat.
No, you don't.
Really don't.
And he meant to do that, and the original piece is a little bit more intricate, and if I get to a hardcover book, you'll see even more of it. So anyway,
cool.
So I hope y'all enjoy that. But he is an incredible artist, and he is going to go very, very far in life. So I got him before he's famous, but he's going to be pretty famous.
Well, this is going to be part of his journey.
Part of the journey.
To that, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the infamous, we have you here.
I know, right?
Yeah, riding the wave.
So shout out to Calvin.
Yeah, shout out. So was that the
so.
first? He sent it to you, first one. You're like, I'm good, done. Nothing needs to be changed, or was there like some back and forth?
The only back and forth was the butterfly, and I was like, Calvin, I need a butterfly sitting in here, but I need it subliminal, and that's all I said. And then he came back the next day, and I was like, oh, come on, that is exactly what I want. And there's intrigue in this book, and it's historical fiction, so it's loosely based on my travels through the Amazon with Martin and Chris, and but the heroine in here is Jessica, and so it's a little bit of my personality, and then I've ramped her up. Jessica's everything I want to be.
Okay.
So it's really cool, and there is much like our last podcast, we talked about nature, and we talked about the balance of nature, and I go through that here. I think what is really interesting, when we went down to Peru, it was the year of in June of 1992, and this is when the guerrilla warfare group called the Shining Path was taking over the country, and our hotel was bombed the night before we got there.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of set the seed for the terrorism part of this, and then I did a lot of research on the Shining Path and how they got started and what was their premise and how they sort of pivoted to Maoism and communism to take over the country. So it was really fun to do research in that, but that's threaded through this book.
Okay.
So super fun.
So you say historical fiction.
Yes.
So it's loosely based on real events, and then you just kind of spiced it up.
I spiced it up.
I like it.
I think that sounds really fun.
I know. Well, and it is funny because my husband did the last edit, and he's like, he came into the kitchen, he's like, I can't quite tell who's Gray Carr and who's Jessica. and I was like, well, you just going to have to figure that out.
That's up to the reader. Huh?
There's a little bit of a fine line between the two characters.
Okay.
That's exciting. And newlywed, of course, right?
Newlywed.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's been a big year.
Congratulations.
Big
This is a
year.
big year.
And
Yes.
you too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I started January. I did it like right off the bat.
Oh,
So,
you did? Okay.
Yeah, so we started off 2025 with momentous tremendousy.
Momentous tremendousy.
Making up some words over here.
Okay, that's good.
But it's fun. It's good times. And
How long did y'all date?
so we married pretty fast.
Okay.
We were dating for approximately just like right over a year. Like it was a year and 2 months.
Awesome. Perfect.
And as I'm maturing more, all these cliches are true, and you don't know until you meet the right one.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But also, I did a lot of self work before I even got to the point to be able to help take care of somebody else. So you will never fill your own voids with somebody else. You must fill your own cup from within first.
Oh,
And then you can actually spill out and help others. So anybody out there that's looking for love to fix their life, that's the wrong place to look. You need to have that inward journey first.
Yeah, I think that's really great. And I mean, we all are evolving. We all go through trials and tribulations, and and you either can take that and say, I've got to learn from this, or you're still going to be trapped in this sort of vicious cycle. And trying to find somebody who's going to fix that cycle is not the route. So I mean, I love your advice. I think it's great. And I'm later on in marrying. This is into multiple marriages. So I mean, it's I promised myself I'd never would get married again, and then you find the right person to complement you, do a good amount of therapy, and then it becomes really a beautiful balance, which is great.
Well, I'm happy that you found that harmony.
I know.
And like I guess life does present us with enough opportunities to learn, right? Because there's all this that's put in front of us, and it's kind of crazy that it takes time to figure this stuff out. And like it's interesting too, because at one point when I was like 19, I feel like I had it more figured out then than when I was 28.
Oh,
so like
interesting.
I kind of digressed in some ways in my life.
Party years.
Yeah, so it's interesting how like time unfolds and teaches us lessons.
Time is definitely a lesson for sure.
Yeah.
Look at my situation. I rekindled something with somebody for 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
My high school days.
Cool.
This is a sweet story.
This is a great story.
Yes.
Love this.
Yeah, my sweetie Crystal.
Aw.
We went to high school together. I had a major crush on her then. Never did anything about it. Fast forward, we get reconnected right around the Grit Together time. It was
Okay.
like
Oh.
everything kind of came together right around the Grit Together.
Wow, it's like a
And
flashpoint in life.
things have been just phenomenal ever since. So it's been the year of love.
Oh, I love that.
it's a lot
And
of-
is she in here in the
She's
Denver?
not. Nope. She is in New Hampshire, my home area, which I'll be at in 2.5 weeks.
Yay.
She's come out here multiple times, doing the long distance thing. But you know what? It's never thought I would be in a situation like this, but it's been fantastic. I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, shout out to her and
Shout out Crystal.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And you brought something together and rekindled it, and that's that kind of cool that you were different people, obviously 20 years ago, and then coming back here and
Yeah.
and seeing maturity and putting in some effort into a beautiful relationship. That's great.
Yeah, right time, right people. It comes together.
Now, does she have children? Or
She does, yeah.
She does. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
They're in their teens, kind of adolescent. So
yeah. Nice. I love that.
it's terrific. So we're all kind of riding the wave of love this year.
Oh, there you go.
You
Okay.
meaningful relationships are really important. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks this year.
Okay.
Because I got like this Libby app. You can listen for free with
Oh,
your
yeah.
library card. So what a life hack. I like to walk. I listen to books while I walk, right?
Right. Mhm.
And so one of them that I was listening to was talking about being a super communicator. And it's really about asking great questions, but they also go into meaningful conversations and what that actually does to our psyches. And people who have meaningful conversations 50 years past, so like there's this differentiator between people aging and aging with like dementia or not being healthy, and people who are healthy in their older years. And they found that people who had meaningful emotional connections with like a peer group and like family members or friends were healthier in their older years than people who were isolated and solo.
I believe it.
So
I do
like
too.
there's all these like studies that also has to go into like communication and and having a meaningful connection with somebody. So it's important.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah, it's fun. My mom is 84 years old and 85. She's gonna kill me that I didn't know that. Anyway, I think she's sharper now than she was like 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I think she consciously reaches out and cultivates information, develops friendships, continues on with those friendships, watches Jeopardy every night with her
Okay.
friends.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
That'll keep your
she's
mind
playing,
sharp.
Yeah, she's playing that all the time. Huge gardener, and so she's out in the garden all the time
see,
and
that's
doing
great.
research. It's super great. And I mean, I think she's honed that intellectual skill, and maybe it's a little bit too that she's worried about dementia and cognitive disorders, and so she's gone the other side and reads voraciously.
Good.
Super fun to talk to. And my dad, the same thing. I mean, and he's 90. I mean, so, I mean, you
That's
can do conscientious work to keep your brain going. I think having those relationships are critical. It's one of the things that we're seeing on the other spectrum, students and children that are using their phones and not having those relationships. We're seeing a really cognitive decline, the ability to communicate, the ability to connect, the ability to have a dopamine hit, and calm themselves down, melatonin, and getting into that parasympathetic nervous system. I mean, all that plays into it, and they're not getting that. And research is certainly finding out that the phone is not a great resource. So
I think we kind of saw it coming. I mean, the more screen
Oh, for
time,
sure.
it's not good.
no,
It's all artificial.
Yeah.
So like we talked about in the last program, getting the kids outdoors,
Yeah.
get them on these trips, watching them run after a squirrel or something.
Yeah.
The lost art.
Yes, the
of
lost
the
art.
simplicity of life.
Yeah. And I mean, even to the point of having that beautiful ability to have common sense, like don't touch the squirrel, you can look at it, don't
Right.
don't do a selfie next to a bison.
Yeah.
And it's all the sort of the common sense piece, which is people have lost somehow, and that's not smart either. Yeah.
So I've noticed this. I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but this is it's going to stay relevant because I deal with the phone doom scrolling as well. I feel like everyone is susceptible to getting addicted to it and just flipping through
It's
it.
always there for you.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
know.
Like we're all at risk here.
Yeah.
And I've noticed on the days when I'm weak and I doom scroll, if I doom scroll for like over an hour, it doesn't matter if it's 3 or 5 hours. If it's just over an hour in time, my mood decreases, my anxiety raises, and I've been I do affirmations. I'm thinking about what I think about for decades. I've been practicing this.
Cool.
And so I'm hyper aware when my mood changes, and I try to identify it as fast as I can so then I can accept it, move on, and be back in my present. But yeah, I've experienced it. Like, watching my phone too much definitely it ruins my work productivity throughout the day. It can ruin my downtime, my quality time with my spouse, with my friends, talking with my family.
Yeah.
So there's all these areas where it's very detrimental while it's also a great tool. It's like one of those
It's a
double-sided.
balance.
I know.
It's a balance.
double-sided.
You got to use it responsibly. Because follow-up question, you walk a lot, right? You're out in nature. You posting the videos to the stuff. How do you feel after that walk in nature?
Oh, the best. And
There you
there's
go.
science behind it. It's the attractor fields, and there's probably something that they call it as well. There's probably a lot of names to attractor fields.
Sure.
Yeah.
But basically, in nature, we are surrounded by positive attractor fields. We're surrounded by trees, which what they do is take in CO2 and produce oxygen. Well, guess what? That's what we are breathing right now to actually stay alive. Like,
Yeah.
what is more important than breathing?
Yeah. Not much.
Yeah,
Not
not
much.
much.
Not much.
And so when you're in nature, you're surrounded by trees, which are giving this life essence. And if you can remove yourself from, I have this meeting coming up, or I got this deadline, or whatever, and you can balance yourself in nature and be present there for that moment and listen to the crickets and just be part of that life and notice your breath in, then you're bombarding yourself with all these positive attractor fields. People are in concrete jungles all the time. This is all man-made plastic stuff.
I know.
It's weak collectively,
Yeah.
and so we're surrounded by it constantly. And then we're also perpetuated with horrible news that is negative attractor fields.
Just keeps
And,
keeps you pulled in.
I can keep going off here, but
it's a spiral.
yes, the
Yeah.
walks help.
Yeah.
The
walks
the
help.
walks help a
Well,
lot.
and I'm a, even driving, matter of fact, driving here, I saw a bald eagle.
Oh, nice.
excellent.
Oh, it's a sign.
That's a good
That's a
sign.
good
I
sign.
know.
That's a really good sign.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bald eagle. That is so cool, sitting way up in a tree. And I'm like, and of course all this traffic, right? And a lot of motion going on underneath this bald eagle. And I was like, I know what it's like to be up there. It is quiet. And they have, of course, in keen eyesight, and so you're like, that is just the coolest thing to see. But it is a gift, and you have to take that gift in, like you're out in nature, and you just absorb it and go, you know what, I was meant to see it at that time, and it's just meant to be. So anyway,
That's
How
exciting.
many people had the opportunity to see it and they didn't?
right?
'Cause they were
I
looking
know.
down, or-
They were
You
looking
know?
down. Yeah, I'm always looking up, and my husband Scott, he's just like, oh, what is that? I was like, oh, that's a red-tailed hawk. And I mean, I'm constantly looking up. I probably should be looking at driving, but it sorry, but it is super fun to see those little nuances out there and observe that. But you're not going to do it with the noise that's going on around you,
Right.
and you're you got your face in the phone
Distractions.
and all that. And I mean, going to a restaurant and seeing an entire family
It's sad.
like this,
It's sad.
that destroys my heart.
Yeah. I mean, I
So-
see even older couples,
I
that have been
know,
married
right.
forever that are out for their Friday night date night or whatever, and they're just both either one's reading a newspaper, the other one's playing a game on the phone.
So what's an acceptable amount? Because I've been guilty of that, where me and my spouse are like on our phone for a little bit.
At dinner?
Yeah, just for a little bit.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's
Man
okay.
down.
That's okay.
That's
Man
okay.
down.
That's okay.
Yeah. An acceptable amount, you might as well fix
Like
that.
if it's just for a quick minute.
I guess so if you're waiting on like the
Yeah.
drinks and stuff to come in.
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty much. I will say to Scott, I see this come up on my phone. Do you mind if I take a look? And he'll be like, it's respectful, right? You
Sure.
know, and he'll go, yeah, sure, no big deal. Or we'll get a buzz on our phones and it's a news. We'll both look at it, but then he's pretty adamant, like, just put them away, unless, I don't know, our kids are traveling or something that we need to be cognizant of. But once I put my phone in my pocketbook, it is a beautiful thing. So
It's a freeing feeling.
It is a freeing
especially when
feeling.
you're out with people. It's like I don't have to worry about it right now.
I know, it's great.
I like that you call it a pocketbook. That's like an East Coast kind of
I
thing.
know, isn't it?
I was talking about this with somebody, like the East Coast slang. Out here, they just call it a handbag or a purse, but pocketbook, that's East Coast.
Pocketbook is the East Coast.
That's a
Absolutely.
throwback term.
I used it the other day after our wedding. I said to Scott, I was like, we need to put our pocketbooks away because we're spending like hella. I do not want to see my credit card for a little while.
You were
I use
celebrating,
that
right?
term. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, he's like, it's worth it completely. So it was.
We'll always
terrific.
get another check. I fully believe we did a Would You Rather on one of our other shows, and it was like, would you rather put $10K on a credit card and have a great vacation, or sit there and not do
live.
anything?
Not
Yeah.
live.
And eat ramen noodles and
like,
be miserable. Yeah.
Almost
I mean,
everybody said
You got to live.
you
to
gotta
put the
live.
10K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The money's not going to follow you into the grave.
No.
So I mean, that doesn't mean that you live beyond your means.
Oh, yeah.
But there are moments when you're just like, okay, put the 10K on, but here's the plan to get pay down the 10K.
You got to have some guardrails.
Yeah, but otherwise, let's get on the ocean and have a big old time.
Yeah, let's sail to
Oh, yeah.
Bermuda,
Yeah, let's sail
Let's
to
go down to the
Bermuda.
Amazon.
Right, exactly.
Would you go there again? I think I asked that last time.
You did. I will tell you, writing the book Well, my response last time, to tell your listeners, was that I had PTSD.
I think
with
you remember me
ants,
saying no.
right? And
with ants.
With ants,
Yeah.
just too many ants, and of all varieties. And now, this was cathartic for me. And for those who have a story out there, this is great. It doesn't matter if you get published or not, but putting your thoughts and your experiences on paper helps a lot. It helps with your mental capacity. It helps with the demons that are sitting there, and you've suppressed them for a while. And so moving through this, I would go back. And every time I will reread one of my chapters, I'm like, oh yeah, that was awesome. I want to go see that again, and I would love to experience it with the people, my family, and my boys, and Scott. I would love to.
They got a family adventure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and I pontificated last time on macaws and seeing beautiful birds fly in the sky, and it's like seeing a Monet. And to see that again would be, amazing. And the sights and the smells, and I go through that, and writing it down, I was there.
Yeah.
I was right there, smelling the dirt and going through all that. And so it was quite cathartic for me to move through that, which was great.
And to relive it.
Yeah.
Now, the whole writing process, 'cause I know you were kind of in it last time you were on the show, which was late December 2024.
Right.
Start to finish on the writing before editing. Mm-hmm. How long was that?
Oh, well, as I said last time, it was like an adventure, and I started it in my late 20s, but I had already journaled about it when I was in the Amazon. So my journal had a lot of this, so I wouldn't have forget it, right?
Sure.
They're just the bullet points, if you will. And then I went through several iterations of, is this going to be nonfiction? Or am I going to pull it into a fictional aspect of things? So about I put it down at about 30 years old. I applied to medical school, so everything got shelved. And I resurrected it back in my 40s and decided, okay, it's definitely going to be historical fiction, and now I need to fill in the gaps. And then the boys were born, and we got into teenage years, then it got shelved again. And then I went through a divorce, and it got shelved again, and I was in a really negative spot. You can't write when you're in a negative spot. And literally moving out to Boulder, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful place. I am inspired. I need to finish it. And so at that point, I was about, I'd say, 3/4 of the way through,
okay.
And I didn't know how I was going to finish it. And so it took me a while to kind of go, okay, what does this finish look like?
Yeah.
And then I had a moment. And I can't remember if I talked about it on the podcast last night.
You did.
I did, okay.
You did tell us about this.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's what you're alluding to on the bottom left of the cover art, correct?
I am.
I think
and
you told
it-
us off mic, though. I don't know if it made the episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Sometimes they bleed together.
I know,
You
right?
told us
What
after
happens on or
the
off.
show, so I don't know if you want to share that or not.
Yeah, well, it's in the book. It's
Okay.
it's one of the last chapters. But needless to say, I did a singing bowl ceremony, and at that point, my boyfriend, and it's now my husband, and we went there pretty innocently in Boulder, and we thought, oh, singing bowls, and I'm a yoga instructor. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great experience, and lo and behold, it had more to it. It involved psilocybin mushrooms, and I had never done them.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty profound experience. And so I had this incredible, very vivid experience where an angel came to me, and she said, you must value nature, you must value what our planet offers, and I remember saying to her, I was fully conscious. I mean, I was very alert, like uber alert, and I said, how do I do that? How do I tell people more about nature and how to balance that out and respect it? And she said, you need to write about it. write and talk and tell your stories.
Yeah.
And so I literally came out of that, and I told Scott, I was like, I got a message, and I'm going to heed that message, and I am going to write every day until I finish it.
Wow.
And that's what I did. And this has been an amazing journey. And, Scott's like, okay, well, if you get the book published and you just, 5 people read it, that's enough. That will, turn the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And, now I've sold over 500 books, and hopefully that's a little
Right.
trajectory from you find people.
That's awesome.
And we'll see where it goes. So
That's
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Yeah. So
That is a great story, and I feel like there are a lot of norms that society has created to cap our conscious collective.
Oh.
And based upon what I've had experience with that too, and I had some enlightening moments. But I do like how, it's not a regular thing.
Yeah. Right.
And so I feel like you could easily overdo anything.
Oh, 100%.
So just to have that like one space for it and be open-minded enough to see and react to something, and then it ultimately change the trajectory of your energy and what you're spending your time doing. There's a lot of like health benefits that go along, and so I love that.
Yeah.
Personally, and then it also is interesting because, what else are we other than part of this planet?
Yeah.
Our mothers, to have us develop in them, they would eat food and substance that is of this planet. And so like we are truly tied into everything, and the fact that we are self-aware gives our consciousness this energy and aura that, if harnessed correctly, can help others. And if we do things that are sustaining to life, then life has a greater value to it.
Yeah.
So that's all things that I'm very interested in. And so have you heard about this, that humans are actually telepathic? That like through intuition, that we have like this layer of telepathy and can know things, and it's effortless and we don't even have to think about it.
Yes.
So I feel like I've told some people that, and they look at me like I'm weird.
No.
And I'm thinking maybe they're weird for not being open to thinking about like our own abilities.
Well, and I had a super sage tell me one time that we have chakras, right? We have energy centers. We're made up of energy, and those chakras and those energy centers have a vibration, and your vibrational level can be pretty high or it can be pretty low, and it all is dependent upon you being, like you said, self-aware, and also to listen. And so we can, we've all woken up, bad mood, the world's against me, and,
Recently.
Right. And then, that's taking your vibrational level down. The higher vibration level you are is the more you're perceptive, and you use part of your brain that is telepathic, the pineal gland, your inner brain. And I do a lot of brain with a super therapist, Nicole Jones, by the way. She'll do brain spotting. And so what it basically is, bypassing your frontal cortex and getting into your middle brain to have awareness, a higher level of awareness about, and all the answers are within you. And like we were talking earlier about, getting married and having that balance in a relationship, finding love, the year of love, all that kind of stuff. That is raising your vibrational level, and you become uber clear about your direction. And I love that. But the answers are here. You just gotta be quiet enough to listen and be receptive enough to that higher level. It does not mean you need to do drugs or psilocybin or anything. I'm not promoting that at all.
Right.
It is all here. Psilocybin might open a window that you didn't know was there. But I think the whole purpose is to say, knock, knock, knock. You have it all within you. Listen and be conscious and go out and have more, or journal and have more conversations with yourself. And find where that direction is. All of us have that beautiful spark, that beautiful direction, and you just need to find it within yourself. I'm a big believer in that. We're not just robots or just born here and we die here, and that's the end of your life. I think it's much more complex than that, and I think that is our purpose. We are supposed to find our true nature and our true purpose.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I think nature is a good way to do it. Anytime I disconnect, no phone, I'm out in the woods, fishing, whatever, that's like I come back so mentally recharged, refocused, revisioned. Everything just seems to click in nature for sure. And I say that because I haven't been in nature enough this year. And so this is a reminder for me that I got to tighten it up.
Yeah. Well, I think you had a story last time was like, no trees were moving, but there was a bush or a tree in the distance, and you felt like it was waving to you. I can't remember.
I think that was when you were on.
Yeah. I was talking about that.
Yeah. And
it was.
It's so weird that you say that. Yesterday I was on a hike with my dog, and lots of trees around. I'm in a valley and moving through the valley and super trail, and way in the distance there was only one tree moving leaves, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Look at that. And it was almost like it was saying, hey, look at me. I'm in the sunshine and I'm look pretty. And I walk by it and I'm like, you are so pretty.
It was so happy to feel your energy.
I know, right? Woo! So that's pretty cool.
Good old Colorado. I love it.
I know.
Didn't you say you're studying trees or reading about them or something? Diving in?
My new book, I'm much like you. I am always reading and I'll listen to a book while I'm, walking and whatnot. But I'm actually reading this book. It's called The Secret Life of Trees.
Okay.
And it'll blow your mind a little bit. And for your listeners, please read this book. It is a quick read, but it's beautiful research, but basically it's saying that trees will, and I'm not going to do this justice, but trees will help each other out.
Oh, is that like with the fungi system underneath?
Well, there's that, the root system, mycelium, fungi, soil. They're all emitting language and nutrients to each other. And actually, there's been some really good research on sound. They actually give off hertz.
Oh, really?
Of
frequency.
Frequency of noise when things are going good and bad.
Interesting.
And so they actually will help out their competition too, and I think that's really interesting. And in the book they talk about slow growth is the name of the game. You actually think when you see a little sapling tree, they need all the light and everything and they need to grow really fast. It's not true. Actually the mother tree will shade to make that the sapling get wider and stronger before they grow taller. So it's not always sunlight that helps them out. It's a lot of things going underneath in the soil, and this will kind of freak you out just a little bit, but I'm going to tell you.
This is the right place.
Yeah, okay. So freak out moments. So in the book they talk a lot about language of trees, right? And what's going on. They also, she goes into the idea that when you have crops, that it's silence. There's no language. Because we are genetically modifying crops, even grass. So when they have done research on crops, and you can see miles of corn or whatever it is, soybean, whatever the crop is, that it's silent. They don't talk. It's almost like and they do not say this is my words, this is not the book's words, but it's almost like they're zombies.
Interesting.
Well,
so like
genetically
modified crops are zombies.
Yeah.
In theory.
In theory, yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, and it's because we're turning them over, right? You know, that beautiful language is happening in the forest with the mother tree, and her children are right there, and that language is all underneath there. She knows who her children are. They don't even have to be near her. Some trees will use birds and other animals for propagating their young, and moving them away. They still have that language.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'd
like to read about that.
See, yeah. I believe in this. I do believe in it because they talk about how I have become more open to the human form being a vessel of our conscious state. I've become more open to that as time has went on. And then they talk about just life in general and being conscious and being. And also like how everything is connected and how you can feel these energies. And I do partake in marijuana, but I believe that drops my connectivity. I think alcohol also drops connectivity.
Yeah, we do know that from research.
So I do want to mention that part right there.
Yeah.
But it's just all very interesting because none of this is ever talked about on a news station, or like it's like, how can we empower people to expand our mind past the constraints that were taught to us that were like, this is what is reality. Like, who came up with what our definitions of reality are?
Yeah,
Agreed.
the parameters.
And like, even just talking about this, like, I don't know if both of you feel like this heightened energy.
Yeah.
I felt it when we started.
In this room.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's like extra high right now. And so it's like, it's interesting how information, knowledge, and the courage to be able to say something that most people don't think is normal, how that could change the energy in a room.
Yeah, for sure. And I think your mind has to be open to that energy and recognizing that energy level too. So there are layers, and I think we are uber perceptive if given the opportunity to recognize that energy. They did it thousands and thousands of years ago, when they were mapping energy lines in the body in India and also in China, and our chakras have, absolute balance to them. Ayurvedic medicine goes into the doshic layers, and all of that is wrapped into energy and how we balance ourselves. And the brain's a powerful thing, so you think about nature and how she's balanced and how she corrects herself. And we see that ever so often. A lot. And underwater, doesn't matter where it is, there is a beautiful balance. And we're tipping some scales, of course, because of the population of human beings and our demand on food and resources, etc. So, again, I talked in the last podcast, talked about that balance. But I think the first place we have to start is recognition. And the second thing is get the rhetoric out of it. Everybody has an agenda, which pisses me off. Sorry. Right?
It should.
And then just, what one person can do to shift. And I talk about this in the book, is the butterfly effect. It's like one shift, one little shift in a butterfly's wings could potentially change the effect all around the world. So
Crazy.
If you think about that little butterfly and what can happen, what can you do as a human to change that effect? And I do think that has all of that. And I think we do need to be taught. I mean, in school, it's ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and, sit down in your chair and do this. And we expect humans to be like little soldiers. And that's going to get you all the money in the world and that great job and all that kind of stuff. It's like, really? Really? You don't really think about that. And what do children these days need to know and to learn and to use their brain and not to be robots? Actually, it could potentially be flipped. We want them to be creative thinkers, think outside the box, look at something different, and think of another solution. like we're talking about now. You know, is like, okay, can I get myself on a higher vibration and really do some good today? And,
Yes, you can.
Right?
You can.
Yeah. Even if it's going up to somebody saying, hey, you look awesome today. And you're like, oh my God.
Random compliments, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Share the love, spread the energy.
Share the love, man.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It does start. People are coached and taught into a lot of this stuff, and the propaganda doesn't help.
No.
You know, like we talked about with the scrolling and stuff that you're constantly consuming.
Yeah.
You know, it's mind poison.
Yeah.
Right? All of it. And I've gotten myself in trouble for saying specific things on here. I won't do it again. But, you know, what we went through over the last few years with illnesses and different things, people just allow that to become the reality.
Yeah.
Well, I can answer some of your questions there.
Okay.
Of what you as an individual can do to raise the vibration of all is be authentic.
Yep.
I love that.
Every little action that you do, be present in that moment. So if you're listening or watching this podcast, be present in the energy that's here. When you go to fill up your glass of water, be present while you pour the water.
Like that timing.
So yeah, I mean being present. So I was listening to an audiobook today that was talking about how people who are present actually change the dynamic of the world around them, even though the outer work is extremely subtle and doesn't seem like a huge impact. By being completely intentional and present with your actions, it actually creates that butterfly effect, which spreads out and touches everything. And one of the biggest risks in the same book that it's A New World is the one I was listening to. They talk about one of the biggest risks to humanity is intelligent stupidity. So what that is we're intelligent enough to split an atom, and then we're stupid enough to stockpile atomic bombs. You know, so it's like this intelligence and then a stupidity with it. I unfortunately think that some of this is actually manufactured, and that like people are aware of the capability of human beings in our conscious minds, and that is gatekept. And so like there's like, by what you're talking about with the crops and like what we were talking about prior to recording about like the corn syrup versus cane sugar and Coca-Cola bottles, like there's all this stuff that or like that, how the Twinkie is no longer what it was. You know,
Twinkies out of here.
So all that drops our connectivity
it's
and
low
level.
frequency food.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
We
low frequency.
talked about that
food.
with a guy a few weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, you are what you eat.
Yeah,
and that's a big part
so
of it.
true. Yeah, yeah, and I it has such beautiful complexity to it. I mean, you know, you grow your own food out in your garden, and you pick a tomato or pick a pepper or whatever. You're so proud of it, but that has a chemical effect already with you being like, wow, I did this, and I am connected. And then you eat it, and it's of course good for you. You haven't put any pesticides or anything on it, and that again, you know, makes your body a fine-tuned machine. And I mean, you're into car racing. You wouldn't put shitty oil in.
No. Nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best, right? And they're striving all the time to find the best type of oil for a performance car.
Sure.
And you go into all that. So that has validity to it, right?
Does.
And we are not treating ourselves as you know, I love Jimmy Buffett's term. It's like, you know, I treat my body like a temple, you treat yours like a tent. And you know, what a great saying, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy Buffett, rip. And
R.I.P.
but you know, I just think it all has its place. And then I could go out. I mean, I could go deep on the rabbit hole in this, because you look at some of the amazing things that our Native American Indians made and did, the Egyptians, the pyramids, the depths of the pyramid. We haven't even discovered a lot of that. And you go, they had uber intelligence. And why do we not have that? We can't even replicate what they did.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
Like even some of the architecture.
I mean, you know, still there's this massive debate on, you know, how do you get those
Extraterrestrials.
Yeah, right. Well,
Well,
we could go into that too.
Do you think?
I like that type of
100%.
stuff.
Yeah?
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
You think there was giants?
Yeah.
Like-
well, I don't know about giants, but I will tell you that I think it's pretty selfish of us to think that
this is
we
it.
are the only people.
I agree with that statement.
In literally the universe. Are you kidding me? And come on. And there are actually planets out there that are actually more sustainable to life than what we have here
On Earth, yeah.
Yeah. So come on. Now we see a certain frame of light. Okay.
Right.
So we could have a universe right in front of us. We just don't see it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you start talking about quantum physics, and then you start taking time out of the equation, now we can talk.
Now
I
we're
might
getting
have to
wild.
have some wine about them before we get into that. But I do think that you have to be open to the fact that we are not the only things around. I do see, you see carvings in Egypt and other places that they kind of look like they could be.
Now, have you seen these carvings in person? Because I'm such a skeptic right now about. I think everything online is satire. Like,
True that.
until I've actually seen
Gone there,
it.
I have not, and so I will plead the fifth. I have not been to Egypt, which I really want to go to. That'll be on the honeymoon sector, but I have not seen them.
Yeah.
But I have seen them in like before AI or anything in
Yeah.
books, and you're like, wow, there's something there.
There's something to it.
Yeah. Well, and let's take the ET thing out of it. The amount of intelligence that were around thousands of years ago was pretty high. They had mathematical equations that were much more advanced than, what we can conceive of today. They did a lot of architecture that did a lot of sophisticated.
Still standing.
Still standing.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Amazing. And so, I'll be open to entertaining the idea that where did the intelligence go? Why did we not keep becoming more and more intelligent? Our world is going faster and faster, right? Every day is something new, and we're discovering new things, doing things with AI and that sort of thing. Is that just a pivot on the intelligence? And I don't know. I think it's just, to me, it's fascinating. I'm like a sponge. I want to listen to everything
Same.
that's out there. And I could probably turn on some podcasts and go, I'm not quite there yet. And then I can turn on others and go, oh, I have not thought about that.
Yeah. Some of the stuff is like they are trying to have a wow factor and bring in people that way.
There's some cult factor
Yeah.
to it, like the flat Earth stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen or heard about any of that.
The what stuff?
Flat Earth,
Okay, no, I don't.
that the Earth is flat. There's a huge amount of people that get behind this movement.
Yeah.
It's
I
but
can't
it's
go there.
I know it sounds silly and not like you'd fall off the side. Like they have the all calculated out maps, ice walls, how it all comes together. And there's a large group of people that get together every year at the Flat Earth Convention.
There was a convention.
Yep, I believe it was in London, if I'm not mistaken. I probably fucked that up, but
Wow.
yeah, we were going to have a guy on that was a big Flat Earth community guy, but he was just too disorganized to do the program. And that's something.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, I'll call out David Weiss. He missed
Yeah.
his opportunity.
Yeah, he did.
But-
Sorry, dude.
But going
Yeah.
on the conspiracy stuff like that, it's wild out there.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
wild out
easy to
there.
get pulled because once you question one thing, then you question everything,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
And then you're susceptible to all of it.
Yeah. When I am feeling like just like, the world is, I had a bad day and somebody said something, oh my God. My vision goes to like the universe and looking at Earth, this big, beautiful blue ball. Sorry, flatters. And I go, yeah, I'm a little tiny speck in that, and there's a whole other universe and black holes and universes and universes
Yeah, the
and
black holes,
Space
like,
debris.
so cool.
I spend a lot of time thinking about black holes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
one that can hurt your
Stephen
brain.
Hawking did some amazing. He debunked his own theory, I think, like right before he died, right?
I
What a
think
brilliant man.
black holes have to do with deja vu.
Oh.
You think they're related? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do y'all have deja vus?
I think everybody has
I've had them before.
I have large deja. I can, like, for 5 minutes go, he's going to say something.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what he's going to say. Oh, he's going to pick up that glass. Oh, yeah, I can go through the whole...
So I came up with this theory that when you're sleeping, your conscious is turned off and your unconscious, which is our intuitive mind, is completely open when you're sleeping. And depending on where you're sleeping, where the earth is, and all of this, your subconscious is reaching out in all directions and then coming in contact with black holes or like the wormholes that are out there.
Right.
And we've seen distortions of time in the universe where people are like, we can't explain it as scientists.
Right.
I'm not a scientist, though.
No, far from it.
But I have this whole theory, like when you're sleeping, it's open and it's interacting with the universe and things that are out there, which break the passage of time. And then you are actually able to, like, see into the future. And that's why you know.
A premonition.
Yeah, because technically through chaos theory, everything that can possibly happen has happened in any and every order. So, but as conscious beings, we have to... we look at it in a linear fashion. That's how like our conscious can make sense.
Sure.
Oh, this happened, so then that was a result.
Yeah.
But technically the result could have come before because everything is always, and that is chaos theory in a nutshell, which is very interesting when you start diving into it.
Yeah.
So, there's all these different like ways of conceiving reality, and like your sentence of like, you know, where did the intelligence go? Is like really, it's kind of sad because I was listening to these books on Stoicism that were written by Romans, and they were saying things that were so relevant today, and it was written thousands of years ago.
That's interesting.
And I'm just sitting here like, where did the knowledge go?
Yeah, right.
What happened?
Well, and I you know, you just now I'm gonna have to buy.
Sorry, there's a couple. I kind of did a couple things.
I know, but it's so cool. But I always thought that you had deja vus because our souls never die. So I'm a believer in reincarnation, and so or I guess the essential question would be, you know, are we just reliving a life over and over again in order to address some of the obstacles that we need to address within ourselves?
I've heard this.
Yeah, and so, you know, your lessons, right? Your lessons to become closer to God. And so, you know, you're back at it again, man. You know, you screw up in one lifetime, and you know you're back, and it might be that you are really put into the situation that you skirted the life before, and that is why you're having deja vus. It's because the same people, same family members. You're reliving this over and over again in order to become a better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good theory.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of more of, you know, at a soul level.
Yeah.
Going through it again.
Yeah.
Trying a different lesson, trying to learn something through it or whatever, and then you're kind of synchronized in that moment.
Right.
I think that's a good theory.
I have a super friend that is a yoga student of mine. She's been a yoga student of mine forever, and I now teach online yoga, and she is now she calls herself a death guru. Okay, so she's basically a doula for death. Okay, and for people who are dying, and she's got the most beautiful soul. I just love her. And anyway, she says constantly when her patients are getting ready to die, they always are saying their loved ones who've already passed, their names. Like, hey, you know, Arthur, hey, Kevin, hey, oh my gosh, good to see you. They always have these moments of just talking about seeing their loved ones. Now, what is all that about?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a little
So
that is kind of wild.
I do believe in the reincarnation. I feel like we have a body right now, and I don't know if we come back to the same body
I don't think so.
Or
either.
the same life.
But the soul is the same, is the idea of it.
I think, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
this is just the vehicle that we're driving.
right. And I think your soul is, matter is never created nor destroyed. And I do think your soul has this just incredible. It's like energy. You can't. I mean, it's not tangible, but your soul is there. And what makes up your being, and gives you personality and likes and dislikes and tastes and so forth. It's all intricate, and I do this is just the vessel, right? And then that is passed on. Your soul is passed on.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I think to me it makes the most sense out of a lot of different theories. A lot
Yeah.
of people have different beliefs about what happens at the end.
I know.
I mean, literally, wars are fought over it.
Oh, 100%. Most wars are religious
Right.
wars and that sort of thing.
Isn't that wild?
I know. Isn't that sad though?
Over a belief system?
Yeah, belief systems is just crazy. But I love to pontificate on that because I have animals and they have souls.
You think so?
Oh, 100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so we are again. Let's not be selfish. We're not the only ones that are sitting around with a soul. I mean, even this book and trees. I mean, the mother tree, she cares about her offspring and will absolutely do whatever she can to protect the offspring. They can lay dormant for years and then start growing. That is her connection with them. And then you go to octopi and they have feeling. Look at ravens. There's a super researcher at our school that's done a lot of work on ravens and
Extremely intelligent.
Ravens? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They'll remember people's faces, and if someone's rude to birds, then the ravens will start picking on them.
They'll tell the others.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
yo, this guy is an asshole.
Yeah.
And then they start picking on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Octopi will do the same thing. They will either caress you or they will not, and
Yeah.
they can feel that chemical coming off of you in one way or the other, and they're making some pretty big decisions. I mean that's great. That's an invertebrate too. I mean that is awesome.
So I know I've told you this question before, and I got this out of a book. But I'm gonna ask it to you,
Okay.
and then I'll give you some examples of why. But I want to see you think about this. So why would a soul choose a body? Why would a soul want a body to begin with?
Okay.
That's pretty deep, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
Because when you start looking at it from that perspective,
Sure.
because if the conscious is infinite, it's forever existing, and we're in a human vessel right now, why would the soul even want to be inside of a human? Why would
You
we
remember
want?
my answer.
What was your
My
answer?
answer
again?
was for experiences, to be in this body, to be at a NASCAR race or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I need to attach myself to that vessel to be able to do that from that conscious collective level of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use Kev for however long I'm going to live to go do some fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll check out and go somewhere else.
Yeah, you're essentially right, because a soul is
Do you think
timeless.
your soul is choosing the body though?
Well, a soul chooses to enter into this realm, so it isn't you don't have to go back, sort of thing, I guess. And this is all theoretical,
Sure.
right?
It's
It's
interesting.
just a way to think, but a soul does not have a beginning or an end, so it
Yeah.
cannot experience. It can't experience the touch of a loved one, physical touch. The soul is physical. There's no physical form to a soul, so
that's the
can't
reason why it
feel.
chooses the body, right?
Yeah,
Is that
because
what you-
all these emotions.
It's got to have the
Yeah,
vessel.
all
The
the
vessel.
all the happiness. A soul is essentially enlightened, so
Okay.
it's not going to feel pain or sadness, and those are all emotions that humans experience. So it's kind of interesting once you think about it like that, because then it almost gives a greater importance to being present in life and actually experiencing your emotions and being involved with it right now, not what you could be in the future or what you had in the past, but being completely present. And then there's this whole once you unlock that, then you feel alienated in society to where you don't fit in anymore, because you don't have the same motivations as I'm showing up to my job and
Right.
like you feel very out of place because things don't have as much meaning anymore.
Interesting.
It's just I don't know. We're kind of in that conversation.
Yeah,
It's just-
we're in
I
it.
love that. I love
Things
it.
to
Where are
think
you
about.
at? I can see the wheels turning, Gray. What do you think?
A lot of things. It's interesting that I talk about actually a term in Sanskrit. It's called antivasan, and it means a border dweller, and it really means that a little bit what you just mentioned, Arthur, about always kind of seeking something else, and you're in the job and you're going through the motions and you're like, I need more. I need to go to the edge, and I need to find my edge again. And you'll hear this from athletes that go to that next level because they're looking for that edge, that next piece to be in flow. And we can talk about flow in a minute, but that's a cool concept right there.
Okay.
But I think it's a really challenging thing to think about your soul and what it chooses and why it chooses what it chooses. And I also think the soul is very much ambivalent if you're male or female. I think that is the experience that you're going to experience. If your soul is ready to going to watch NASCAR and going to be there, well, I'm going to be in Kevin's body and, we're going to go there. And I need to address my feminine side. And so I'm, my next life and my soul is going to choose to be in a female
That's interesting.
figure. And then you can go on.
And now, what if there's not individual? So I just thought about this while you were talking. What if it's one soul?
What do you mean?
What do you
Like
mean?
it's
Yeah.
just one.
Just every soul's the
Yeah,
same?
it's not. We don't have individual souls.
Oh.
But it's all the same soul that's like within all of us. That's within the trees.
We
like
just broke the internet.
everything.
So we're all like, well,
Like
okay.
I don't know. I just like it hit me when you were saying that. I was like, well, what if it's all just one soul?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you said that, and I'm gonna go back to a little experience I had with the psilocybin. One of the things that came out of that too is I did ask the angel. I said, "Is there a God?" I asked, "Is there a God and is there a devil?" And she said, "I'm gonna show you." And she said, "I want you to look." And I kind of felt like I was on a mountaintop, and I could see everything, right? And everything was angelic, if you will.
Yeah.
And she said, "See, now God is in everything. We are all one. That is why you need to respect everything you see. And I will show you this. And I'm like, well, I was like, wow, and to answer your question, so you can say, yeah, I mean, we're all kind of one if you believe in that. I mean, I do. So, and I respect everybody's beliefs, but that's what I experienced. And then the devil piece, she said, yes, there is a devil, but I want to show you that it is an entity that you don't need to be careful. That is not your worry. If you want to go to a dark side and decrease your frequency levels and really, be negative, then yes, that will probably open up to your soul. But otherwise, it is nothing for you to be worried about, because that's your heart wants to go and help and be a steward of the planet. Let's just go. Cool. But to answer your question, I think it's all one.
It's all very interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're all family.
We're all family.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
I like that, though.
Yeah, well, I do too. And I think it goes, you feel really good when you're a steward, right? You feel really good when you do something philanthropic. And, you go, even if it's helping an elderly person walk across the street.
Right.
Or, you give it forward. I'm going to pay for that person's Starbucks coffee right behind me. And you're like, hey, daggone, that felt good.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go and rescue a dog or a cat or whatever. Or
I save the bees.
you said the bees,
Yeah,
right?
if I see the bees in the pool, I'm getting the bees out.
Yeah, that's good. They need to propagate, and they need to help with pollination and all that kind of stuff. But I think, I definitely think that you feel better. Your soul feels better when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And regardless of what it is, and so I think there is something to that.
Well, and it's where you put your energy, because where focus goes, energy flows.
100%.
So piggybacking off that, right? People are always like, well, the devil's pushing me towards, you got to keep the devil behind you and move
100%.
forward,
Yeah.
which, that works for some people in that world of religion and how all that
Mm-hmm.
works. You got the bad angel, the good angel, drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, all that.
Yeah.
But if you're focused on, the promised land, all the beautiful things, you don't have to worry about what's behind you. You don't even have to worry about your six.
Yeah, it's so true.
Right? That's kind of what I got out of that perspective.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that you can be a person that is gonna dwell on that and the negative and looking back and what bad things can happen, and that's called karma too.
Sure.
Yeah.
That shit's gonna come at you.
It does.
Hard.
Sometimes instantly for some.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and people and people continue to go in it. It's
Right.
like, get yourself out of that negative spiral, and because an opportunity is sitting right in front of you, and but that's your choice. If
Yep.
you want to go to the negative and always live that way, it's unfortunate, but to each his own.
No, it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
It's a yin and yang. It's negative and positive, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to have that balance of the scale.
Yeah.
Right? Can't just always be positive for everybody all the time. I mean, I'd like to think it would be, but I don't think that's realistic.
I don't think so either. I mean, I do think human nature has us looking at things. We tend to gravitate towards the negative, right? I mean,
There's a lot of fun things that are negative.
yeah, a lot of
all the fun.
Right, it's
The
all
partying,
fun.
the drugs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then being positive takes work. It's a lot of hard work, and so yeah, I think balancing is smart as long as you stay a little bit in the
Stay in your lane.
center lane.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy.
So with my addiction demons, I acknowledge them, and then I let them in, and I choke them out, and then I let them back in, because they always come back, and they get smaller every single time. And one thing I will say, and I was even, I had a little prayer with my wife, I don't follow religion, but I am connected with the higher energies that are.
Love that.
And we do believe in energies, and I try to protect the energy of our relationship a lot. And I just had this whole saying where I was talking to her about, our energy is pure, and we're good people, and we do the best that we can, and we're selfless. So we are more powerful than the negative energy. It literally has zero dominion over. It might try to come in, and it might try to find a way to sneak in.
Oh, yeah, it's
but
gonna knock.
but truly, once you unlock, and you're actually a good, genuine person, and you're honest with yourself, and you've accepted what is, then it can't even touch you. And I say it somewhat arrogantly, but it's true. And that confidence is it feels good, because I believe in the ghosts and all the bad energies
Sure,
and all this
paranormal.
other stuff, and I am aware of it sometimes, and I sense its presence, and I'm stronger than you.
Yeah.
And it disappears immediately.
Yeah, I love that.
So I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation. I was not
Yeah.
expecting.
No, I know. I love that. I as you're talking, the image that comes to mind, which is a funny image, and I do this from the show, but Ted Lasso. Have y'all seen Ted Lasso?
I'm familiar with it.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. But the actress that owns the soccer team, right? And someone asked her, said in the show as she was acting, they said, how do you deal with all the negativity that comes at you, and all you are a single female in this very male dominated world, and it's very competitive and all this kind of stuff, and they're going through this scene, and she sits there and she goes, "This is what I do," and she's crouches down, and she's a very tall woman anyway. She says, and she gets really big. And I've done that every so often. Like if I'm going to go walk into a hard conversation or something like that, and I'm like, I am impenetrable. I've got all this positive energy. No one can penetrate this. And I literally walk in and have a discussion. And I'm like, I'm so easy. So I think it's a mental.
It is.
It's a mental state, and I don't care what it is. You got to make yourself big.
Yeah.
You got to have a mantra that's very positive, or whatever it is. But it's out there for you, and you can literally change the trajectory of a negative situation into something positive, which I love.
Fantastic.
That was a great demonstration.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 'Cause now I can picture it. I can visualize it.
Right.
Yeah. It's true, though. I mean, it goes back to positive affirmations and all that
Yeah.
stuff. We believe in all that.
Power pose in the morning. You wake up. You do the Superman stance.
Yeah.
Like it changes your mental being,
100%.
your physical form.
Yeah, and I'm a girly girl, so if I'm going to have like a powerful meeting or something like that, man, I'm putting on high heels and I am putting on a nice suit, and I feel good.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean,
Coming in.
it's whatever it takes,
Yeah.
So high heels and the like.
Well, it's such an honor to share another conversation with
I know.
you.
It
Y'all are
absolutely
awesome.
flew by.
Yeah, it did.
This
Oh,
one,
yeah, it
this
did.
one was. I was ready to talk about your book. And
We did.
and now I feel extra enlightened.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone, you need to check out.
Yeah.
Kiss the Butterfly,
Kiss the Butterfly.
written by yours truly, right here.
Where should we direct them to buy the book
Yeah,
and all that
on
stuff?
Amazon.
On Amazon. So we'll just drop that link in.
Yep.
Down below in the show notes. We'll make it real easy for the viewers and listeners.
And I
Scroll
have
down.
a brand new website, and it's graycarbridgers.com.
Easy.
And and you can find the book on there. You can also look at all my wildlife photos from around the world and get to know me a little bit better. And y'all's podcast is on my website too. So
nice.
Perfect.
There we go. Yeah.
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 Well, rising tide lifts all boats. And
I
that's,
know.
That's the direction we're headed.
I love that.
I'm looking forward to reading it. I was kind of thumbing through it. I saw the images at the back. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
I'm excited
I
to dive
appreciate
into
that.
it. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for coming down and hanging out with us for round 2.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. Round 3,
Round
probably.
3.
You know,
Yeah.
Q2,
Bring it.
Yeah.
2026, somewhere in
Uh-huh.
there. We got some big things coming. So
Okay. I
we're
love
we're
that.
bringing you on the journey.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a good journey.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
episode.
Peace.
Excellent episode. Tune into Happy Friday America tomorrow. Support and Mash the Gas. And definitely go check out Gray Carr Bridgers and all the epic things that she is doing. What an honor spending some time with you. Can't wait to catch up again.
Likewise. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Cheers, my friends.
Be good to yourselves.
You deserve it.